You are clear to launch.
Launch complete. Landing gear up.
People of the verse, hello and welcome to the channel. It's the Eradicator today, and we are going to have another video about Star Citizen, and we have today a video about the 3.11 Post Mortem, which is the kind of new feature that I've been doing on robotspaceindustries.com since I think 3.9, where they're basically explaining what is going on here when a patch is about to be released. Actually, it should be the 3.10 post-mortem, by bad, right? Because post-mortem is mean after the death, so we're already acknowledging the death of 3.10 and the future birth of Star Citizen 3.11. So that's what we're going to talk about here, and this is where the devs talk about what worked and what didn't work, what they're happy with and what they're not so happy with, and then looking forward on to the future. So we have a first part here regarding the vehicle team from John Crew himself. And here John Crew first starts about talking about the thrusters, efficiency curves, and aerodynamics, telling us that he remembered the backlash. I would say that the first try was the hover mode back in Star Citizen 3.6. I personally loved the hover mode very much, but not everybody did, and he did acknowledge that a lot of people found it confusing, and they tried to avoid doing that with the new thrusters, efficiency, and curve dynamic. They tried to have the new atmospherical flight a little bit smoother, more intuitive and easy, and more user-friendly. That's the word I was looking for here. And overall, he feels that he's quite happy with the work that was done here, and so does the team. There are going to be a few changes, but not as minor, not as major as what we've experienced so far. Next is also talking about turret gunnery and improvements, and we have a very interesting chart here showing us the difference between Alpha 3.9 and Alpha 3.10 before the changes. And in Alpha 3.9, obviously the huge majority of kills per user were done with gimbal assist and manual gimbal, and we can definitely see that the curve has changed, and now the overwhelming majority of kills per user are done with fixed weapons, thanks to the changes that they've done for turrets and fixed weapons as well in Star Citizen Alpha 3.10. And I think that this also reflects what I personally have experienced in game. Obviously, you may have seen on this channel when I'm doing combat, I'm almost always using fixed weapons. I've made a couple of videos about this, and it is true that I have to say that they've made a tremendous job here in Star Citizen Alpha 3.10 to bring back fixed weapons into what I would call maybe relevancy, right? Next, we're talking about the new targeting methodology. Again, the idea here was to simplify targeting. Originally, they thought that in evocati phase and in PTU phase, it was a little bit too complicated. They tweaked it so that now, basically, if you want to target, you can still do a couple of things, right? You can still select your target, mark your target, lock your target, and pin your target. But overall, very easy. Just press T, and whenever there's a target in front of you, that's going to target that target, and you'll be able to get it right. They've also reworked the ship HUD with now, originally there was this new HUD which was available in a couple of ships, like those new ships that were coming up. For example, it was there in the Karak. Originally it came first with the Gladius. We could see it in the Pisces too, and they tried to convert the old UI, which was using a flash system, into the new UI, which is using the Star Citizen's own building block system, and that also allows them to integrate extra functionalities. For example, the new pips and reticles, which are much more intuitive as well into the game. Overall, the new ship HUD in Star Citizen 3.10 is also a great improvement, and the team feels very happy with them. Now, there's one thing that the team still doesn't really feels happy with, and that is the restricted area rework, which was originally something they were planning to bring in Star Citizen Alpha 3.9. It required more work. That's the system that brings the splines when we are leaving and entering spaceports that are in urban areas, like at Area 18 or Lorville. And the idea with this restricted area rework was to remove the big big no-fly zone, which were symbolized by a red and a yellow blob, which was basically insta killing ships. It is still the case. Now you have to enter and leave those plans. They did realize that sometimes players arrive and leave a little bit too aggressively, miss the splines, and end up having the splines behind them. So when this happens, with the players are still subjected to an autopilot that is eventually going to auto destroy the ship too. This is something that they're not happy with right now, and they are going to work on that in future iterations of Star Citizen. They're explaining that they want to use the law system to encourage players to respect traffic rules a little bit more, and instead of having autopilot and destruction, they are going to have impounding, fines, and crime stat, which is something that I've been personally calling on this channel for quite some time, and definitely makes sense. I am glad that they announced those changes, and hopefully we'll be seeing them in the near future. Also, high-speed ship combat here, which they do confess is a terrible name because it encourages ship to fly slowly. This is personally something that I am not really, that has not really impacted my gameplay at all, because I've always been flying slowly. When you fly slowly, you have a much easier. If ships are dogfighting slowly, we have a much easier, not easier, but a much better accuracy, and you can see more details the ship that you are attacking with, and try to hit the components properly, which is very important. You know, you want to try to target the engines or hit the cockpit, right? If you're doing that at high speed, that doesn't work. I like it that now, if you want to lock ships, if you want to use your auto gimbals, you must fly at slow speed, as those are going to have increased missile lock time and decreased slew rate if you fly a little bit too fast. And that is also going to bring combat to, I believe, a more personal level, as you get to really see the ships that you are flying with in a more, Star Wars-ish style kind of gameplay. I know that a lot of people don't like it. Not a lot, but a certain amount of people don't like it, and they prefer dynamic and fast-paced combat. This is not really my cup of tea, and it seems like it's the devs also want to have this more close combat approach, and I personally like that very much, but I know that this is quite controversial and not everyone likes it, right? And finally, John Crew talks about the Grey Cat Rock. And the Grey Cat Rock here, called the premier vehicle of Alpha 3.10, which is really telling a lot that there was not much in Alpha 3.10 when it comes to vehicles, right? And here they're very happy with the brand new harvesting mechanics here from that vehicle, which heralds future vehicles or future mechanics for mining as well. And basically they're saying that there's going to be more vehicles like this in the future. The rock, for those of you who have been living under a rock, is of course this tiny little vehicle that allows you, that basically is the transition between mining on foot and mining in a space vehicle, right? Alright, that's all for John Crew. Moving on now to Todd Pappy in the PU live gameplay. So first he's talking about cover usage, which is something that the AI have been doing here for those of you who are doing FPS missions. And the problem was that until now the AI was not using cover mechanics with items that were lower than 1.25 meters, right? It had to be objects had to be 1.25 meters or higher for the AI to take cover, and now basically the limit is 50 centimeters. So if there is an object that is 50 centimeters tall, the AI will try to take cover behind it, which I think they're doing it a little bit too much, right? The AI still needs a little bit more polish and work, because it feels more like when you are playing missions like the security post Curry breach. It feels like the AI is playing hide and seek and just waiting to be killed when you are looking for them. I think it's probably because of the poor state of the servers, but I haven't had a lot of good FPS sessions in Alpha 3.10. I think pretty much 1 or 2, and everything else in every other session the AIs were broken, probably because of the state of the servers. So we desperately need better servers ASAP. The AI using shotguns now. So in the past, AIs were able to use rifles and pistols, and quite frankly, I've never seen any AI using pistols in the verse. So maybe that's in Squadron 42, but here in the Post Mortem it says PU live gameplay. I don't know if you guys have ever seen any AI using pistols. Please let me know in the comments down below. But now they can use shotguns, and they do, and they can be quite deadly. Sometimes if you get shot in the head with a shotgun, that is an insta kill, and it's great because it brings extra dangerosity to the verse. Always like that. Next, Ian Leyland talking about environment art. And with GrimX, pretty much what we had guessed, right? The improvements at GrimX bring us new hangars, which is great because now if you have a caterpillar, you can do trade in GrimX, and those new areas for betting, which are here for future iterations of Star Citizen, when we are going to have improved races and when we are going to have eventually betting. And then mission giver Luca Brunt, which unfortunately is not here, right? Because he's waiting. Basically, they're waiting for races to be an actual thing, proper races with proper betting. I'm pretty sure that we need iCash for that, which we don't, so it's gonna have to wait a little bit more. New Babbage has had the Aero View hangars. Again, they confirmed that they use the old style hangar with New Babbage branding, but now we have those new luxurious hangars, and we are going to have more hangar brands coming in the future, they say. So maybe, who knows, maybe we'll have hangars with woods, or maybe more luxurious or more industrial in the future as we have more planets, right? And finally, we have also New Babbage shop additions, telling us that they are basically confirming that what we saw with Pico the Penguin is just a prelude, is just the beginning of what we are going to see in the verse. They want to have each landing zone, or at least each touristic landing zone, to have its own bespoke little mascot. So Pico the Penguin was it. We should probably expect Crusader and Horizon to have its own whale as well, and they want people to collect those little objects and bring them eventually. When we have our own hubs or our own properties, we'll be able to bring all of those objects, and they will be able to persist in the verse. That's one of the reasons why they did that. New planetary heights, so also a brief mention of that. This is part of an effort to improve the visual quality of the planets, and I think that they really need that, especially after what we've seen here with Elite Dangerous Odyssey and how beautiful and gorgeous those planets are. Star Citizen needs to try to remain at the top of this little rivalry and competition between the two games, and they need to update regularly the looks of the planets in order for Star Citizen to keep looking like a next-gen game and not feel outdated. Next, a little bit a few more items here. So this is for the actor feature team. Body dragging again was confirmed to be the very first tier 0. The reason why we have body tracking, and this is what they said here in the report, is because in the future we'll need to drag dead bodies to avoid AI patrols from being alerted, or we'll be able to carry injured teammates into a safety area, maybe into a Cutlass Red or an Apollo, and they gave us a very early implementation of body dragging so that we can test it in the server, and they can learn from how people are using it in order to improve body dragging for when there will be actual gameplay for it. So it's just the very first iteration here for future tests. And Electron Damage we were informed that this is actually the first type of exotic damage that we will have in the future. I'm really looking forward to what kind of exotic damage we'll have. Maybe they're talking about future Banu or Xi'an weapons. That would be very cool, but probably in the very long term. And that's pretty much it for this post-mortem here. Always, these are very interesting reports. I'll put the link in the description down below if you haven't read the post-mortem. And that's all for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget that this month I've got a giveaway. I'm giving away, thanks to Buzz69, a Talon Strike with lifetime insurance, and on top of that, a Rock and Cutlass Black also with lifetime insurance. All you have to do to catch of winning is to be a subscriber of the channel and to comment to any Star Citizen related video. This month the winner will be announced early October. Good luck to everybody out there. This is the Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.
Warning. Front impact warning. Port impact warning. Landing complete. Engines offline.